Alright, Saheeli Sword Horse. SSH. What is this abomination? This is a fun little brew deck that I've been messing with. It's kind of like a passion project, but I want to put some content out there to just show that you can brew some janky stuff in Pioneer for fun. So this is the full list. I've split the lands into two to show what's going on. And this looks like a pile of cards, and it is indeed just a pile of cards. So let's go to a full comprehensive breakdown of the deck. We'll explain the lines and things. While this deck is named Saheeli Sword Combo, it is the backup plan. We are still a Niv Mizzet Bring to Light deck that wants to slam creatures, gain value, do things that way. We kind of want to do the RKO out of nowhere. We want to basically play a standard game and then out of nowhere, bang, and we've got it. We won the game. So with that in mind, let's do a full breakdown of this deck. And we'll start with the core of the deck, the Saheeli Sword Horse combo. So it's actually two different combos. Saheeli Ray is a 3-mana planeswalker, 1 blue and red. She's one of my favorite planeswalkers ever. I love her design. I love the world of Kaladesh, or whatever the hell they renamed it as, because I don't know, whatever. Gearper, that's it, Frog. It took me a long time to remember that. So I love this card in standard. I love the cat combo. I think, controversially, I think adding it back to Pioneer might spruce up Pioneer a bit, but you know, I don't. Smarter people than me say it's a bad idea, so I'm going to lean to them. She's a 3-mana planeswalker, starts with 3 loyalty, and she has 3 abilities. Number 1, +1, scry and do a damage to each opponent. -2, create a copy of target artifact or creature you control. It's an artifact and gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the end step. And 7 is search our library for 3 artifacts with different names and put them onto the battlefield and then shuffle. So here's the clue. Everything about this card is built around the -2. So if you look in the left of this, we have the sword in question. Luxor, Giardia's Gift. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each counter on it. Equipped creature isn't a planeswalker and is a creature in addition to its other types. So equipped creature isn't a permanent. Yeah. Equipped permanent that isn't a planeswalker is a creature in addition to its other types. Loyalty effects can still be activated. Equipped for 1. So here's the line. If we give Saheeli that sword and turn her into a 3/3 creature, her -2 does not specify other. So we basically can make infinite Saheelis. They do legend rule each other, so they will eventually just all die and we'll only end up with one Saheeli activated over and over again. But it does give us infinite ETBs, and we abuse that with the Altar of the Brood, where whenever an opponent we control enters, each opponent will mill a card. So we can mill out an opponent by attaining that combo. Controversially as well, we now have the other side of the combo, which is the horse, Shepherd of the Clouds. This is a 5-mana 4/3 flying Vigilance Pegasus. I know it's a Pegasus, but Saheeli Sword Pegasus doesn't sound as funny to me. When this creature enters, we return a permanent card from mana value 3 or less from our graveyard to our hand. But if we control a mount, we return it to the battlefield. So it's basically a build your own Sun Titan. And like anyone who'll know from the old Sun Titan Saheeli combination, if you have 2 Saheelis and a Sun Titan, you can go infinite with infinite Sun Titans. How do we do that? Simple. We play the Shepherd, returning a Saheeli. We -2 the Saheeli, making a new Shepherd. If there's an additional Saheeli in the graveyard, we can then loop the Saheelis by returning a Saheeli, legend ruling the one that's been activated, -2ing to make another Shepherd, to bring another Saheeli back, and so on and so forth. Infinite flying horses, so Charge of the Valkyries, whatever. But you may say to yourself, well, that's a very interesting column, but how do we get that going? So, for the purposes of the sword and the altar, they are both 1-mana artifacts, and Aether Drift gave us the Bright Glass Gearhulk. So we can conjure this creature, a 4/4 first strike trample, which is an insane stat line, which will let us search our library for 2 artifacts, creatures, or enchantments with mana value 1 or less, and put them into our hand. So we play a Bright Glass Gearhulk, we can grab both halves of this combo. Pretty good. Now, I will also state that I did add in this deck a Valgavoth Slayer as an enchantment land, as an additional target, just to help with hitting our lands, or if we've already got half the pieces, I don't want to miss a potential grab. As for the other side of it, you might say to yourself, wait a minute, there's no mounts in your deck. Well, we have Verdiched Core, which is a mana rock with Changeling. And for those of you who are thinking, wait, it has Changeling, but it's also can turn into a creature. It has static ability Changeling. So even when you have this card out, even if you haven't activated the ability of turning into a 4/4 artifact creature till the end of turn, it is still a Changeling, meaning that Shepherd sees this and goes, yeah, that's a mount. That piece of rock there is a mount, and I can do my ability, which is pretty good. Also, it's a mana rock for fixing. It's also a late game if we go mega grindy that we can just make a 4/4 out of nowhere for more damage if we need it. So those are the two halves of the combo. What's the rest of our deck built around? Well, I said before, our core is a Bring to Light deck. So obviously we have Niv Mizzet and Bring to Light. We can Bring to Light for the Gearhulk to find the two parts of the combo if we want it. We can also Niv to help us hit both of those. A Niv Mizzet can now hit essentially both of the combos. A bit long-winded, but if we Niv and hit Saheeli and Gearhulk, we can essentially construct the combo from there. It's not efficient, it takes a couple of turns, but it is nice to know that we can do that. With the rest of the deck sorted, well, if we have a Saheeli and we don't have anything else, we want to have good ETB creatures or things she can copy. With that in mind, we have Biotech Specialist, Bloodtithe Harvester, Vine Creep Mentor, and the Reflector Mage. So you might notice 3 of those creatures make sacrificable artifacts, so we have as always in my decks, I've put Biotech Specialist in. I love this card. So obviously, if we can use the Saheeli down tick to copy it, make another lander token for fixing, we have 4 damage per sacrificed artifact trigger. We can then make a copy of Bloodtithe Harvester as an artifact that we can sack to use its ability, which will then trigger Biotechs. Vine Reap Mentors will let us make food for later. We can just churn out a bunch of artifact tokens, which we can then sack in a late game to do more damage or gain more value. We also have Reflector Mage because Reflector Mage and Saheeli are best friends. This bounces a creature, buys us a tempo turn to buy a thing. And we can also just use the Reflector Mage with a Saheeli to just bounce a creature again, buy us time. Basically, it's a bounce spell that leaves us with a 2/3 body, which is very good. With that in mind, then, we do have some interaction here. We have Tyrant Scorn to kill or bounce creatures, also self-bounce our creatures to buy back ETBs. We have Lightning Helix for stabilization, life gain, and removal. And we have the new from the TMNT set, Karai's Technique. So, we have a lot of valuable ETB creatures, Niv Mizzet, all of our stuff that makes tokens, so we can easily get a sneak if we want. But even without a sneak, paying 3 mana to basically kill a creature, pump a creature to do more damage, is really good. But also the bonus is just being able to sneak it to get more ETBs. Finally, we just have our sideboard, so we'll just go over it quickly. There's a bunch of stuff we can add to tutor for the Gearhulks, Dryad Militant for instant sorcery hate, Deathrite Shamans for graveyard hate, Judge's Familiar for a control-y piece, Authority of the Consoles as a slow, grindy piece, and Deafening Silence. We have the full playset of Deafening Silence because Mono Red Prowess and Izzet Prowess is still the menace, and you want as many of those as you can get. We then also have a full playset of Leyline of the Void for the inevitable Greasefang or Graveyard decks we will run into. Bit long-winded, but that's the deck tech. We have a game to show you to demonstrate the deck. We will not be doing a deck tech every week I do this, but I just wanted this first one to show you the core of the deck. First game here with Saheeli Sword Horse. And this opening 7 is not acceptable, so we're mulliganing. We're doing 1.5 times speed here for this first one, just to give me more time to explain. This hand is acceptable. We're going to put a Saheeli to the bottom and unfortunately a Niv. It is going to mean that we're vulnerable. Skeleton Tribal, or Mono Black Aggro. Fully respect that. Let's start with a John Land. Yeah, this is the Skeleton Tribe. There's a ton of surprising lords for skeletons, so let's get a Biotech down. This blocks everything here, but also can give us fixing for later turns. Alright, buys us a turn there. There's a Saheeli, so I'm going to start with a Scry for this Saheeli. My logic is I can bait them into swinging to lose a creature to keep things down. Put that land to the bottom, we need some more action. If they swing in here to tap down Saheeli, I need to buy time. But they have a Skeleton Lord. Alright, so Saheeli is dead even if we block here, so we're just going to let it go, keep our biotech. There's a Fabled Passage. I'm going to wait here. I'm going to use the Helix here for a double hit. So, when they swing in, I will respond with Kraken Fable. We'll use the Lightning Helix here to kill the Lord so we can trade favorably with one of these skeletons. So, Lightning Helix on the Death Priest. Turns out our opponent had a Corrupted Conviction, so pretty good there. Let's crack the Lander token to get more fixing here. Definitely, I'm going to grab another white. I'm grabbing another white because if I draw a Gear Hulk, I want to be able to cast it. And I do have enough here to just... I will not have a full Bring to Light, but I'm going to focus on the Gear Hulk. Another Corrupted Conviction, down to 14. Buy back the Gutter Bones and replay it. Alright, pretty good here. So, ooh, our black and our blue are on the same target. So, start with a Reflector Mage. Bounce the Gutter Bones. Let's grab Yorion to hand here because a Yorion Blink is still a really good card. Cult Conscript, Risk Gambling Skeleton. Death Baron, that changes things. All of these have Death Touch. Alright. There's a Gear Hulk. First Strike 4/4 is a surprisingly good roadblock. Alright, let's grab the two combo pieces so that if we draw a Saheeli we can win from here. Let's gum up the board here with a Blood Tithe Harvester and hold back. There's another Lord and a Gutter Bones. Alright, so damage is close here. Let's block with the First Strike. I don't want to go down to 1 here. I don't think I'm going to win with biotech damage, so I'm going to trade everything here as much as possible. Oh, they had a Corrupted Conviction again, so 3 of those puts us down to 7. There's a Gutter Bones. There's a Vine Mentor. So, I think our best bet here is we're going to have to use Yorion. Blink the entire board. So what we can do then is use the blood here. We'll get rid of the Vine Creep Mentor. Finds us a land. We'll just play a land, thin out the deck here, get another color. We're running a high number of basics because of some of the triple pip colors we need. Alright, second main phase. I'm going to play the Altar of the Brood just to be mana efficient here. Reflector Mage will bounce the Death Baron, so we don't have to worry about Death Touch. Let's grab the Layer. That's the last card we can grab right now. We mill a couple of cards with the Altar. They just return stuff, draw a card. There's no Death Touch here, so we can trade favorably. We still will take damage though. Right, so First Strike touch there, Gutter Bones there, and block there. So we take 2, go down to 5. So it's all on these next few draws. And we draw the full combo. So here we go for the demonstration. Saheeli, mill a card. They're tapped out, so let's play the Luxor. Give Saheeli her sword. Well, not her sword, but now Saheeli is a target for the copy, which makes a Saheeli, which will then let us -2 constantly to mill our opponent out into oblivion. And I'm going to do a spoiler alert here. Our opponent got real mad salty and decided to Alt F4 out, so we got to fully demonstrate this combo here. And take out the entire deck. And then the opponent sadly just times out for the purpose of sideboarding. So with that in mind, let's talk about how this felt. It felt good to start with. We had a good board presence, we could trade. Our opponent's deck was not very interactive. It was basically a tribal deck, so they were looking to overrun us, but fortunately a few of our pieces that had removal / bounce effects bought us time to fully establish the combo. This was where I learnt really how good Bright Glass is as a blocker. Like, First Strike 4/4 in this format is an absolute menace. Like, also Trample, just to... This thing could be an aggro house on its own, so I'm feeling very impressed with that. This as a game though did make me think maybe I should consider more options for targets for it. Maybe the Vine Creep should be replaced with the Death Rites. It would have been valuable in this graveyard based deck, but yeah. So as you can see, this is very combo click intensive, and I'm gonna use this final bit of the video to describe what I would like to call combo etiquette. If you see someone is executing a combo on Arena, no matter what you're in, if you're in a casual queue here, like casual best of 3, if you're in the a event for prizes, common decency is when they display their combo, you should ultimately concede. For the purposes of this, right, I was not mad at the time, because I thought to myself, okay, they could have some kind of crazy shuffle back into graveyard effect in their deck that I'm not aware of. So I thought to myself, I'm going to go till I see it, and then I'll stop when I see them do the reshuffle. But the more I did this, the more I realized, oh, this isn't happening. Also, for some reason, the timer doesn't seem to show up here. I think it's because the board state is changing since we are milling our opponent each time. One thing I noticed when I was doing the horse combo against Sparky as a test, and in other matches I tried, it was generating a timer restriction, which was so weird because I was altering the board state. I was making hasty attackers. But I think here, because like our opponent is effectively losing a resource with the mill, that the timer isn't going out. But I do all this and I'm like, okay, so you had nothing in your deck. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So for the last turn, just in case they've got something crazy somewhere, like that last card in their hand is nuts, I'm going to use the Reflector Mage trigger here to bounce the Lord, so they can't even do enough damage with a double Lord to kill me. I'll play this Valkavoth Slayer, and then I'm just going to pass. I'm not even going to attack, because I'm scared that they could have something. They go to their turn, we've got to get 35 triggers for Saheeli. That's how many times I activated Saheeli in that sequence to do this. So you've got to have strong dexterity for clicking. But yeah, combo etiquette. If someone displays a combo and you are dead to it, for example, if they are, when I first started playing Magic on MTGO, I learned very simply that if someone displays a Splinter Twin combo, and you do not have interaction. At the time I used to play Soul Sisters, I was dead. The opponent basically was, I was gaining a life, but they were making 2 damage, so they were going to eventually get bigger. Out of common decency, you should just concede, because in paper you would do the same thing. Now I know obviously online is a different beast and blah 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 blah, but yeah, this series might show a lot of that. There are a lot of people who will see a combo and Alt F4 forcing you to go through the full link. I'm not for a minute thinking this guy sat here for 5 minutes just watching me do it, thinking that I wasn't going to go mad. But anyway, the rest of the deck is, this video is just him timing out because he died to a combo. I fully think he should have respected combo etiquette, but I did respect his very fun skeleton deck. It looked very cool, and he nearly got me. So we're gonna cut it here with the audio and let the game go. So that is Saheeli Sword Horse. It's a deck I'm gonna play a bit more on the channel for fun brews. I won't do a full deck tech at the start of the videos anymore, but if I find a change or something I do, I'll just do a little pling at the front being like, I've took out X and added Y. Alright, game.